So this was announced a while ago, but seeing it in the August version update notes, I still can't believe I'm saying this. We are getting new story content to Final Fantasy XI in August of 2020. What? So guys, welcome back, and a little context if you haven't really been following Final Fantasy XI in its more recent years, because it is now over 18 years since its release. That is a crazy number. What's going on? So I had to look it up just to verify my dates. In 2015, they announced the final storyline of Final Fantasy XI, Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, which would tie in all of the major expansions, characters, and storylines. I did my video on that storyline in 2017 when I finally got around to it. So November of 2015 was the last, according to Square Enix's announcement, story content that would ever come to Final Fantasy XI. Many saw this as the end of the game, the ultimate sign that this was being sunsetted. We may have a couple years ahead of us of just random updates, but overall things were probably coming to a close. March of 2016, console support ended, giving those players a brief moment to maybe have a chance to play. Wait a second, didn't Adeline not come out for consoles anyway? So even if you wanted to do Rhapsodies on consoles, you couldn't? Somebody let me know in the comments if that was accurate. I stopped playing on PS2 and Xbox 360 years and years ago, but I love those platforms. I would love to know if people could have closed out the entirety of Final Fantasy XI on consoles. I don't think so. Either way, Square Enix is, from their own mouths, admitted back in 2015, guys, this is it. We love this game, we'll continue to support it, but as for story content, continually evolving the game from a lore and narrative perspective, it's over. And it was a very sad day for most of us. I've had multiple very emotional videos describing what is sort of, for me, the end of Final Fantasy XI, knowing that there was nothing really over the horizon coming besides various content updates in terms of, various battlefields, fights, equipment, which is all amazing, and I love it, and it's kept me playing the game. But without stories still out there, eventually I'll run out of things that I want to do. Maybe, or I'll just keep playing private servers and older versions of the game and just keep going, pretending nothing's ever changed. But I'm rambling because I'm so excited, because I'm going to read you, and I hope I remember to put it on the screen here, the August version update announcement. Let's take a look at what's in store for August. The most exciting news I have to share is that a brand new storyline will be coming to Vana'diel. Now, to be fair, they did announce that this was coming a little while ago. I forget exactly when that was announced, but they have said that they were working on new story content. I think the situation with COVID-19 probably slowed it up a little bit, but this is the first patch. I don't know if this is the only patch, but it's at least the introduction. I have a feeling there will be follow-up patches with more storyline. I doubt this is it. This story, which will play out over the course of many version updates rather than just a few. Wish I'd continued reading that before I rambled off those last couple sentences. There you go, it's going to be a couple updates. Explores a side of Vana'diel that's never before seen the light. We're going to talk about that a lot. Be aware that full completion of Rhapsodies of Vana'diel is required to experience this wonderful new content, so I hope that those of you who haven't set experienced, I'm reading that correctly. I think it's haven't yet experienced Iroha's tale in full will take this opportunity to do so. Then they go on to the job adjustments and everything else that's coming with the update. But new story content. What month is it? I truly don't know for a second. It's August. Obviously, this is the August version update. August of 2020. 5 years after they announced they were done. Most games don't even last 5 years. Final Fantasy XI itself never was believed to last 5 years. Their whole business plan had it going for like 2 to 3 years, I think, and then they figured everybody would drop off. And it had more support than they expected, so they can release expansions and continue to make a ton of money off it. But 5 years after they said, we're sorry guys, we're essentially done. We're in the general support phase of this MMO's lifespan. Oh, we've got new content coming. I'm blown away. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous. There is definitely what is considered to be mostly a skeleton team of very passionate, very hardworking individuals working on Final Fantasy XI. But a lot of the reason that they said previously there's no way we can continue to produce new content is because so much of it was based on the PS2 development kits that were like literally dying off and going away. There was too much code that was only modifiable via that method, and some that might not be manipulated, and some that might not be able to be adjusted at all. I'm sure those that have worked in the private server space getting those systems up and running could tell me a lot more about that than I can certainly guess at here, but all I know is that it's been very hard to produce new content in any meaningful way for Final Fantasy XI outside of just is this profitable as a business venture. Physically, it has been difficult to do. I don't know if they've gotten around that somehow. I don't know if they found PS2 dev kits. I don't know if they changed some inner software that allows them to sort of work their way around that, but it has me concerned. How is this no longer a problem? And maybe they announced it. If somebody has any information on where that may have changed, if they spoke about it in a lot of the recent interviews in the 2018, the 18th anniversary, they did tons of interviews across many different publications, and I have not read them all, so definitely let me know if you found somewhere where they might have explained a little bit of detail about how this is possible. But I'm curious. I'm a little worried that compared to what we're used to in these grand, reaching, amazing narratives that Final Fantasy XI has delivered, that this will seem like a strange offshoot. Because in addition, if you watch my video from back in 2017 as I finished Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, I praised and applauded it for being an amazing end to a game that I thought, in my own words, essentially could have no end. It brought everything together in this amazing way that made sense but wasn't overreaching, brought back characters that I'd missed that were awesome to see again, in this cool, huge story that summed up both my experience as a player of a game and as a character in that game perfectly. Now I kind of feel like we're getting a little bubble on the end of that. So I hope that somehow they make this something new that's both impactful and doesn't ruin what we've already done, but isn't also just meaningless and kind of like this offshoot of like, whatever. I don't know how they do it. I feel like they have an unwinnable task here. I'm not sure how they approach this. But this is amazing to see. It's amazing to see bringing new life to this game where the community has such passion for this amazing game that they've developed, and it was always so sad to see it ultimately losing some attention, losing some funding, losing some personnel, which, you know, I'm not surprised by. It has to eventually when it's no longer profitable for them to keep it going in its current state. Of course, I would love to see the IP continue. We talked about remakes, remasters, just an enhancement to the game and its platforms to make it, you know, more playable in 2020. But I understand that maybe they don't think that's as profitable as I think it would be. But let's talk about what this might be. I've gone through my concerns about, you know, how do you make this work, both technically and from a narrative perspective. But let's talk about what we think might happen. We don't know much. The two important pieces of details, out of like the three details they gave us, are that it explores a side of Vana'diel that's never before seen the light. That could mean a couple things. Actually, it could mean a million things. And be aware that full completion of Rhapsodies of Vana'diel is required to experience this wonderful new content. Now, let's talk about the second part first. That can mean a bunch of things. Maybe they just want there to be a gate. Maybe they want to encourage more people to finish Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, as if you didn't have enough reasons to do that as it is. You know, sort of as a business way of making you go through a bunch of steps of content and maintain that subscription before you get into the new stuff. And there might be rewards for the new stuff, like gear rewards that will be incredibly coveted and valuable after the end of these couple of updates. Again, adding more reason for players to definitely make their way through Rhapsodies and definitely make their way through this new content and definitely be subscribed for a couple more months. I don't know though, Rhapsodies already has like a million reasons that you should do it if you're really into current Final Fantasy XI Endgame. So I feel like they got you there. Which makes me think that more likely it's gonna use the same characters. They're continuing that storyline somehow. It's still got Aroha, still got Tenzin involved heavily. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I really thought they wrapped that up well. There were still some questions, and slight spoiler here in case you haven't done Rhapsody and have any intent to do so, but I still feel like there were a couple questions about Aroha and what happened to her afterwards. If you follow Final Fantasy XIV and have played that crossover event, there's certainly some information there, but it's hard to tell where that was in the overall narrative. She's hopping around universes a lot. Point being, I think she returns to where she came from. I won't say more than that. But we don't really know what happened. She just kind of is like off. So I don't know, maybe there's more there that they could touch on, but I'm just kind of curious. Now, the next part, well, the first part, explores a side of Vana'diel that's never before seen the light. We had a bunch of million of different ideas of what this could mean during the other stream the other night. By the way, if you didn't know already, we do Twitch stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely come in, tune in, say hi, chat with us about this stuff. I love talking about this stuff almost every time. Almost every time. Can you imagine the one time it's like, hey, let's talk about the lore of Final Fantasy 7? I'm like, not today. I'm not feeling it today. Don't you dare bring that up. Okay, to be honest, first thing this made me think of was Abyssia. I feel like Abyssia has a ton of zones, a content structure that already kind of matches the Final Fantasy 11 endgame style in 2020 of like how you obtain and earn content. I mean, it's a heavily involved process in upgrading your Empyrean gear. But everybody's been wondering over time, when are you going to be able to upgrade your Empyrean gear to the +2, +3, and this would be an interesting way to like tie in some 119 versions of Abyssia. And I say that because, you know, zones that have, sorry, a side of Vana'diel that has never before seen the light. Now, that's not really a fair explanation of Abyssia, if I remember my Abyssia lore correctly, and I probably don't, because to be honest, I couldn't stand it. I think Abyssia was a realm where Promethea won, and darkness essentially prevailed, and then the zones were utterly obliterated, and Vana'diel, life as we know, was just terrible. Yeah, but Promethea won and became Shinryu, right? Or am I even remembering that remotely correctly? Epic, as in Epic99, definitely check out his stream, he joins us all the time, thought that this maybe meant Dynamis. Dynamis, obviously a world that is overcome in darkness. I think we were saying because Dynamis is based on a world where the Shadow Lord won and darkness has prevailed. Pervading theme. It was either Hayden or Mog, who also both join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays on the stream. Definitely come say hi to them. Mog streams on his own as well. Encourage you to check out his stream, it's awesome. I can't remember who said it, but just kind of like from a technical wording perspective, I'll tell you, has never really seen the light. That would be kind of a wordsmithing, just because of its location, which I can't. Was it in space and then it crashed down into sea? I kind of forget how it works. Regardless, another amazing zone that they could kind of give the Eshka treatment. They did it with Sky. Why not with Sea? Although we were saying, how sad would that be if they took the most colorful, beautiful zone of the game and just gray washed it? But regardless, a really cool zone to hang out more in, and they kind of could give a little treatment there as to something going on in a zone we haven't been to, and you could argue that it hasn't really seen the light of a general sun. So I don't know what it means. Epic is also incredibly hopeful, and I think Mog is as well. Hayden, I don't think it's going to be the case, but it might be a totally new zone. That the wording, a side of Vana'diel that's never before seen the light, truly just means what it sounds like. That it's a brand new place that has never been visible before, which would be impressive. But I'd be surprised if the developers have had time or resources to actually build an entirely new zone and not kind of utilize that Eshka Abyssia style where we're just reusing a lot of zones that sort of already exist. But I wanted to bring awareness to this. If you have stepped away from Final Fantasy 11 for a while, I certainly understand that, and you're kind of curious about this new storyline, is keep an eye in August. Maybe it's time to return to the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you guys think this storyline might be developing around, if there's other information somewhere that's kind of leaking some ideas and secret tips. I'm really curious. I hope they do a good job with it. I'm so nervous because, again, I feel like Rhapsody's ended it on such a high note, really saying that storytelling in Final Fantasy 11 has always been one of the peak elements of the game as a whole, and if it's remembered for nothing else, it really did deliver some amazing Final Fantasy stories. I don't want them to then be like, and then we threw on this nugget at the end, and it really was a chicken nugget, not a whole tender. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Keep an eye out for more videos. As always, I appreciate you coming out. I know things have been a little shaky around here lately. Most of you do know that I'm in the process of moving. It's taking forever. There's still more to go. More information on that to come, but you'll continue to see more boxes evolve around me, I'm sure. Join us on the streams if you got any more comments that you want to talk about in person, and otherwise, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.
Boom! There it is! What is going on? Yes, dude, there it is! We did that!
Alright, raising Mog.
What is up?
Raising Mog for Telos. I can't cast raise. You got re-raise. All right. Kellis is our years
Congratulations,
wrong.
guys. Congratulations, dudes. We did it.
I need a moat.